We've all been there, right? That moment you feel so small, you just wish the ground would open up and swallow you whole. A moment of total embarrassment or failure or shame. Most of the time, we try to bury those moments and just move on. But what if the most painful moment of your life was actually the beginning of your story? What if the moment you felt most broken was the exact moment you needed to become whole? The truth is, the most profound and unbelievable transformations don't start with some grand plan or a sudden miracle. They almost always begin with a single, simple decision. Everyone was laughing, and in that moment, standing all alone on my 8th grade school trip, I never felt so huge and yet so invisible at the same time. It was supposed to be the best day of the year, an end-of-year trip to an amusement park. I can still remember the sounds, the smell of popcorn, the distant screams from the roller coasters. But all I could feel were the burning stares of dozens of eyes on me. I was too big for the ride's safety harness. The attendant tried to click it once, then again with more force. My friends looked away, pretending not to notice. But everyone else did. After a few awkward, silent seconds that felt like an eternity, I had to do the walk of shame, climbing out of the seat and walking past the entire line of people. That feeling of pure humiliation, it can either break you, or it can be the one thing that changes everything. For me, it was the beginning. This is how that one awful moment led to a single choice that completely transformed my life. That school trip wasn't a one-time thing. It was just the loudest, most public version of everything I already believed about myself. In my head, I was the fat kid. That label wasn't just a nickname. It was like a filter on a camera, coloring how I saw myself and how I thought the world saw me. It controlled the clothes I wore, always baggy to hide my shape. It controlled how I walked through the school hallways, head down, trying to take up as little space as possible. It basically decided who I was. Every day was a series of little battles with the world. Could I make it through gym class without getting winded and having people stare? Would the desk in his classroom be a tight squeeze? These weren't just passing thoughts. They were like static on a radio that you can't turn off, a constant, low-grade hum of anxiety in the background of my life. The world felt like it was built for someone else, and I was just visiting, and this struggle wasn't just physical. It was deeply emotional. I built walls around myself and used humor as a shield. If I could make the joke first, it wouldn't hurt as much when someone else did. But on the inside, I felt incredibly lonely. I watched my friends date, join sports teams, and just move through life with an ease and confidence that felt totally alien to me. I wanted that so badly, but I felt trapped. My body felt less like a home and more like a cage, a barrier to the life I actually dreamed of. The humiliation on that school trip wasn't the start of the pain. It was just the moment the dam finally broke. I went home that night, and the laughter from the amusement park was still ringing in my ears. I replayed the scene over and over. The pity in the ride attendants' eyes. My friends looking anywhere but at me. The snickers from strangers in line. The shame felt like a physical weight, heavier than any number on a scale. I just cried. I felt a despair so deep it was like drowning, like this was just going to be my story forever. But then, something else started to bubble up. Underneath all the shame and sadness, a tiny flicker of something else ignited. Anger. I wasn't angry at the kids who laughed or the ride that didn't fit. I was angry at myself for just accepting this was my reality. I was angry at feeling so powerless. And in that moment, something inside me just shifted. There was no lightning bolt, no dramatic movie moment. It was just a quiet, firm thought that cut through all the noise. That night, I made a choice. This wasn't some New Year's resolution to lose 50 pounds. I tried those big declarations before. They're like vowing to leap across a giant canyon. So intimidating you never even take the first step. No, this was different. It was a simple promise. I will make one small choice every single day that my future self would be proud of. That's it. This was like finding the very next stone to step on. It wasn't about the outcome. It was about the next step. It wasn't about changing my body. It was about changing my promise to myself. That one simple choice was the first domino, and it would end up knocking over every part of my life in the most incredible way. The next morning, that single choice was all I had. No diet plan, no gym membership, just that one question. What's one small decision I can make today that my future self will be proud of? My mom had packed my usual lunch, a sandwich, chips, and a soda. I looked at it, and for the first time, I saw it as a choice, not just a meal. So, I took out the soda and swapped it for a bottle of water. That was it. That was the decision for the day. It was so small it was almost laughable, but it felt like a huge win. I had kept my promise. The next day, I took the stairs at school instead of the elevator. The day after that, I ate the apple in my lunch bag instead of trading it for cookies. Each decision was like a tiny brick. On its own, pretty insignificant. I just kept stacking them, one on top of the other, day after day. Psychologists call these micro-decisions. They are like single drops of rain that, over time, have the power to carve a canyon, adding up to massive change. Slowly, those bricks started to form a foundation. A few weeks of stacking these small wins gave me the courage to make a bigger one. I finally told my parents about the school trip, about everything. Seeing that I was serious, they got right behind me. We found a health program for young people that was focused on nutrition and wellness, not just on numbers on a scale. That was a huge turning point. I learned what a real portion size looked like. I learned how to move my body in ways that felt good, not like a punishment. Of course, there were setbacks. There were days I ate the pizza at a birthday party and felt like a total failure. But I realized this journey wasn't a tightrope, where one slip means you fall. It was more like a hiking trail. Sometimes you trip. The point wasn't to never fall. It was to just get back up, brush yourself off, and focus on the very next step. The journey was slow. It was months of choosing grilled chicken over fried, water over soda, a walk in the park over a video game session. But then, things started to change. First, it was my clothes. A pair of pants felt a little looser. Then my energy. I wasn't getting winded on the stairs anymore. A few months in, I stepped on the scale and saw I'd lost 15 pounds. It was proof. The bricks were building something real. By the end of that year, I was down 45 pounds. But honestly, the number on the scale was the least important part of it all. The real change was on the inside. I started walking with my head up. The humiliation that once defined me had become the fuel for my own reinvention. A year after that horrible school trip, our class went on another one. This time, to a different amusement park. As we walked toward the biggest roller coaster, I felt that old, familiar knot of anxiety. My friends, probably remembering too, gave me a questioning look. I could have easily waited on the bench. But the person who walked into that park wasn't the same person from a year ago. I took a deep breath and I got in line. My heart was pounding, not just for being scared of the ride, but from being scared the past would repeat itself. I sat down in the seat. The attendant came over, and with a loud, satisfying click, the harness locked into place. In that moment, I felt a wave of freedom more thrilling than any 200-foot drop could ever be. As the coaster climbed that first hill, I threw my hands in the air, not just in excitement, but in triumph. I wasn't sitting on the sidelines of my own life anymore. I was in the front seat, screaming with joy. This new reality went way beyond amusement parks. I started saying yes to pool parties, school dances, trying out for a play. The fear of being judged was replaced by a quiet confidence. And it wasn't arrogance. It was the deep, internal knowledge that I could keep a promise to myself. This new life wasn't about being thin. It was about being free. Free from a mental prison I had built for myself. It was like discovering the prison door had been unlocked the whole time. I just had to be the one to finally push it open. The world no longer felt like it was built for someone else. It finally felt like it was mine. When I look back, it's wild to think that this new life, this confidence, this health, this happiness, all started with one choice I made on what was the worst night of my life. It wasn't a decision to lose weight. It was a decision to show up for myself, just for one day, with one small action, and then to do it again the next day. Your life is a collection of your choices, and sometimes just one can be the spark for everything that follows. A well-known motivational speaker once shared that after a life-changing accident, he began asking himself deeper questions about whether he was truly living with purpose, love, and meaning. But you don't need a near-death experience to make a choice like that. Sometimes, all it takes is a moment of humiliation to make you ask yourself what you really want. We always wait to feel motivated before making a big change. But that's backward. We think motivation is the fuel, but it's actually the engine. Action is the spark that turns the engine on. You don't wait for the engine to be warm to start the car. You start the car to make the engine warm. You have to do the scary thing first, and you find the courage after you do it, not before. So what's holding you back? What's the story you tell yourself about why you can't change? Whatever it is, just know this. You are always one decision away from a different life. Not a different destination overnight, but a different track. A single choice can feel small, but it's like flipping a switch on the railway. It can change your entire direction. If this story hit home for you, let me know in the comments. What is one small choice you can make today that your future self will thank you for? And if you want more stories about how we can transform our lives, one choice at a time, make sure to subscribe and turn on notification bell. Because real change doesn't happen overnight. It happens one decision at a time. And your next one could be the one that changes everything.